In all of this discussion, we should never lose sight of what started it. The absolute savagery that we saw on display starting on October 7th can't be overlooked. This is an effort by Israel to root out Hamas, to make sure that Israelis can live in peace and free from that kind of savagery. That's all they're after. They just want to be able to defend themselves. For that and other reasons, there is widespread bipartisan, bicameral support for this. As Senator Vance just noted, they passed this overwhelmingly in the House. It would pass overwhelmingly in the Senate. Could we bring it up today, as we should be able to bring it up today? We should be able to get a vote on it today. It would pass overwhelmingly, and it would be on President Biden's desk before sundown. That's the way it ought to work, especially while they're in the middle of a pretty important fight. A fight that I should add is not only in Israel's interest, but also, I think, helps foster U.S. interests. And Israel is something of an island oasis in a rough part of the world where we have a lot of the same interests as Israel has. So Israel's autonomy and its right to defend itself really coincides quite nicely with ours, and it's complementary. Now, I understand there are other conflicts going on. That doesn't make it a good idea to tie this conflict to every other conflict or any other conflict. We have to take into account that there are differences here. We need to evaluate each funding request on the basis of the individual merits of the conflict in question. The needs of Israel and Ukraine, and for that matter other areas in the world that have been beset by some conflicts, they're distinct and they're separate. So too should our strategy and our investment of resources. And the demands on our time on the floor are not so vast that we can't at least separate out Israel from Ukraine, particularly where one enjoys broad-based, bipartisan, bicameral support, and the other does not. But lumping together funding for Israel and Ukraine undermines our ability to make these nuanced, informed decisions on their own merits. And in this case, it's really delaying the aid that, again, is overwhelmingly supported in both houses of Congress and both political parties that could otherwise go there sooner. It's being delayed because they're trying to tie it to something else. It's part of the frustration that many of us have with Washington. There is this mindset that creeps in that unless you pass everything the president wants, you can't pass anything. That's wrong. It's harmful to the American people, and in this case to our allies. It needs to end. And I commend my colleagues who are with me here today for their stand on this. Up next is Senator Lummis.